first generation of Fight Camp revolutionized the at-home boxing game by allowing you to track your punches and your output in real time and see your long-term progress. And after years of learning, research, and feedback, we went back to the drawing board to bring you, drumroll please, the new Fight Camp Experience console. With this upgraded experience, you can now access the next level of Fight Camp. Starting with partner workouts. No need for just one person, you can now have another person work out with you, and our console does hold up to 4 trackers. An updated round-by-round scoring and punch goals, plus celebrations of new achievements to keep you motivated. A new look and feel on your live screen. You also will have simplified streaming, an easy step-by-step setup for a seamless experience. The console itself is also a charging dock, so you never have to worry about losing your trackers or them dying. As soon as you're done, stick them on it and you're good to go. Connect directly through an Ethernet cable if needed. And it's optimized for multiple accounts. In summary, if you like the first generation of Fight Camp, then you are going to love the new Fight Camp experience. So if you want more information, make sure you go to joinfightcamp.com to upgrade your experience today. This is Fight Camp, an interactive training camp from the comfort of your own home. Tutorials and guided paths walk you step by step through the basics and sharpen your technique over time. Punch tracking technology and leaderboards provide you built-in motivation to help you hit your goals. Learn more at fightcamp.com.
The brain to perfect the body.
He has opened doors for others.
He fights the fight for us.
My number one constituents can't vote for me because they're students, they're in the classroom. So my fight is taking it to the State House and making sure all the dollars that we contribute to our tax base is coming back to the city of Brockton. When people talk about Brockton, they're not thinking negative, they're thinking positive. Once you invest into your youth, you're gonna have a rich community.
never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit cause I got my own now. I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out. And I probably end up laughing cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit cause I got my own now. I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
Hi, my name is Karen. I'm a mother just like you, and my son rides a motorcycle. So please check twice, save a life. Motorcycles are everywhere.
For more information on sharing the road, visit mass.gov/RMV.
Master Yoda I am. And listen you must to hulazoom.com.
The movie, music, news, television promos, trailers and videos used in this production are protected by the Fair Use Act. Section 107 of the Copyright Act. 1. The purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of commercial nature or is for nonprofit educational purposes. 2. The nature of the copyrighted work. 3. The amount and substantiality of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. 4. The effect of the use upon the potential market for, or value of, the copyrighted work.
Obama steps up, combo cold as ice. Trump's deal is weak, look at him roll the dice. You tore up my deal, called it the worst. Now you're begging Iran, making it even worse. Obama roasted Donnie, roasted. Left the whole room silent, Trump looking lost. You said you were better, the greatest deal maker, but you just proved Obama was the real one. Faker! You gave them billions, lifted all the sanctions, now you're crying. This is not what I wanted. Obama watching like I told you so. Your art of the deal turned into art of the blow. 30 seconds was all it took. Obama spoke facts and you got cooked. From no new wars to bombing, then begging. Trump's foreign policy straight up embarrassing. Obama roasted Donnie, burn! Forget Trump cheering all over the world. You started the fire, now you're feeling the heat. Thanks Obama, best roast of the year. Obama steps up calm but cold as ice. Trump's deal is weak, look at him roll the dice. You tore up my deal, called it the worst. Now you're begging Iran, making it even worse. Obama roasted Donnie, roasted. Left the whole room silent, Trump looking lost. You said you were better, the greatest deal maker, but you just proved Obama was the real one. Faker! You gave them billions, lifted out the sanctions, now you're crying. This is not what I wanted. Obama watching like I told you so. Your art of the deal turned into art of the blow. 30 seconds was all it took. Obama spoke facts and you got cooked. From no new wars to bombing and begging. Trump's foreign policy straight up embarrassing. Obama roasted Donnie, burn! Forget Trump cheering all over the world. You started the fire, now you're feeling the heat. Thanks Obama, best roast of the year.
Broadcasting from the City of Champions, Brockton, Massachusetts, with your host, Keith Sinister One Hayes.
The City of Champions, and it's your boy Sinister One broadcasting live from the City of Champions. You are watching The Booth. It is 7 p.m. and I got my guest on with me. I got to thank my guest from last week. I had Lisa Crowley on. We talked FIFA. As you know, the games kicked off. The season of the beautiful game kicked off. Lisa Crowley came on, so I want to thank her for coming on. This week, I got my guest Lamarr Lewis is up in the corner up there, Lewis Family Council. We're going to really get into it. I got to thank my sponsors and supporters, as you guys see down there in the bottom right-hand corner, MDB Electronics. If you got your Xbox controller and it's drifting and you're getting mad, you want to break your controller, send it out to him. He'll fix it for you. Back to gaming in 24, 48 hours. My artist, Viana Marie, her music is at 494,000 streams. We've got a little project that we're working on. I can't wait to tell you guys about it. But that's out there. And then Tactical Target Systems, guys, you know, I like to go to the range and protect my family. Tactical Target Systems, those life-size zombie targets that you see me with when I'm down at the range. And then I Love Boston Sports, black-owned business, Marlon Williams. Those are the shirts that you see the Celtics players wearing and Red Sox players are wearing, and you know, Bruins and Patriots. So go down there to South Shore Plaza, check out ilovebostonsports.com. There's my artist there taking pictures with Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Ladies, if you want to take some bedroom photos that you never thought you'd take, she'll put you in that space, get you feeling comfortable about yourself, and reach out to Kimberly Ann Empowerment Photography. Also, black-owned business, Underwatch Protective Services. That's my man, Daryl Smith, who donates his time for our slingshot ride in August. If you need any type of armed guards or unarmed guards or event security or private security, reach out to Underwatch Protective Services, black-owned business, Daryl Smith. And then, hey, my first guest, before we get into the news booth, I got my first guest on with me. And actually, you know what? I got to mention the one topic in the news booth. June is PTSD Awareness Month for veterans. So I think I want to mention that because this guest that's on here, we can actually, I think I'll actually make this the kind of first topic that we can kind of talk about. But I got my man Lamarr Lewis on here. I met Lamarr through Kevin Lito, who I do the Turnbuckle Spilt Liquor podcast, but we are also part of this men's group on Thursday night, which has been, you know, very successful. It's been going on for quite a while now. I'm surprised that we still got guys coming through in here for a positive on Thursday. We did have a sad moment this year when we lost one of our members. Mark DeWitt had passed away. It was kind of shocking how it went through. You know, we talked about it on both shows. I think guys are still reeling over this loss. I think guys sit back and, you know, one day you say, shit, he ain't here. You know, and I just got to meet Mark through this group. I met Mark personally when I went out to Ohio last year. But I mean, you know, I felt like I was kind of invading your space, fellas, you know, because you guys knew Mark. Let's really break that down and talk about that, you know, because Mark was a really good dude from what I seen, and I'll let you speak on that real quick, man.
Yeah, man. So first, you know, thanks for allowing me the opportunity to, you know, come and share this space with you, bro. You know, the men's group, you know, started it going on 5 years ago now. And I think you came in again when Kev, my brother, joined in the part. And if anybody knows Kev, you know, Kev, once he in something, he's in it. You know what I mean? And he just spread the word. And you know, I went through a family tragedy a couple of years ago, and he kind of stepped in, and it's kind of been his baby ever since. So I'm glad that I believe in institution building. You know what I mean? That's how I was taught. So I'm glad something that we built is still going, to your point. Right. To a direct answer to your question, or to, you know, what I think about DeWitt. Mark, man, I've known Mark literally since I was in junior high. I went to a summer camp, NYSP, and he was my camp counselor. and I went to school with some of his brothers. Mark has always been a big homie to me, big brother, especially in the realm of academia. He always, um, you know, I like to talk. You know what I mean? You said that earlier, and he one of the people. You can't get good conversation with everybody. You know what I'm saying? He one of the people we can go back and forth and banter back and forth. So, I mean, DeWitt, man, was a very solid brother. I was blessed in our last interaction. Actually, I was here at the gym that I'm at now. And he was singing an old commission song, and I remember it. For those of y'all who don't know, I grew up as a preacher's kid, and I knew that song. We were singing it together on the men's group, and that was my last interaction with him. So I'm grateful that my last interaction wasn't any mess, wasn't anything that was ugly or disrespectful. Last time I was in the city, actually speaking, mentioning veterans, I was speaking at a veterans event, and after that, I spoke at a Black Unity conference, and he came. He's the only guy from the men's group who could make it. And so, to your point, man, he just was a solid dude, man. I truly miss him. And I'm hopeful that wherever he's at, the group in general, but me specifically, I'm still doing my brother proud. So that's what I got to say about that, because I'm not gonna cry on this podcast today. So. I'll cry when I get off, but I ain't crying right now.
Yeah, like I said, I felt like I was invading because you guys was tight. The fellowship is real tight, and it's nice to be part of that fellowship and be recognized. But as I said, also, as I mentioned here, also June 15th is also PTSD Awareness Month. Sure. As you guys know, Lamarr, let them know about your business real quick and the things that you do, and talk, and then we can get into this PTSD real quick.
For sure. So that should be a straightforward answer, but it ain't really. So the business that y'all see in the background, Lewis Family Consulting, is something that I started several years ago, actually as a side hustle, man. I work with a lot of community-based mental health agencies. And so it kind of started when I would go to these places and help them out during, we have audits when you work with like Medicaid, stuff like that. So a lot of organizations needed assistance or needed help with accreditation. And I would kind of come in for a little bit and help them, kind of like a hired hitman, right? I come in and clean some stuff up and I get on up out of there. And in 2021, I'm giving you a quick story. I left my previous employer, kind of broke out on my own, and I already kind of had this entity. So I just rolled with that. What you've been alluding to, and I'll say directly, is, I'm a therapist by trade, not just by the thousands of hours of clinical experience I have working with other humans, but the thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of student loan debt I've accrued to call myself a therapist. I've been working with people for a long time. I got to tell people I don't know nothing else to do. So what I've been doing with my business is taking these things that I learned, or these things that I work with people on in counseling, how to communicate with their partners, how to work through conflict, how to listen. And I extrapolated that to work with organizations to help them bring those same skills to the workplace. So some people might call them soft skills, empathy, compassion, again, active listening, leadership development, stuff like that. It's all kind of under my umbrella. So I go different places, whether virtually or in person, and help facilitate these real deep conversations. And that's kind of where that comes. Also helping organizations deal with something that came up this past week, man, workplace trauma. People experience things in their workplace that they can't let go, and it keeps them from doing their best work. So how do we work through that as a team and help support people as they deal with their mental health challenges at work? So that's like the big work I do. I still see people individually and couples and stuff like that. But the big work that I do is taking that individual work, or that kind of one-on-one or one-on-two or smaller group work, and extrapolating that to larger organizations.
Man, so you before we get into this PTSD question, you brought something up, and I got to ask it so I don't forget it. You talked about workplace trauma, and it's funny that you mentioned it, because there are some words that we have that come out today when you talk counseling, when you talk mental health. Workplace trauma is one of those things that now comes up. And, it's one of those things that, one of the things we talk about in the Black men's group, as kids growing up, Black men suicide rates as high because we were always told to suck it up, toughen up, don't let that get to you. But that suck it up and toughen up, that was also out there in the workplace for everybody. A lot of people. It doesn't discriminate anybody. We've seen people now in professional sports are now taking time off for their mental health. We saw Simone Biles, who took time off in the Olympics, and she got dragged through the mud, and it was like, wait a minute, you have to remember, she went back to a country in the Olympics to where it triggered her stress from being sexually molested by a coach. She needed that time off. We had a Boston Red Sox player who, had to take time off because he was ready to commit suicide because he couldn't take the fan criticism. So workplace, these are things that are tied into what we would say is workplace trauma. And I see people, so because I have this love-hate relationship with social media, and I see people will say to people with workplace trauma, oh man, suck it up, just do your job, blah blah blah. Are the days of that suck it up, do your job over? Because back in the day, when we were younger, you had mailroom shootings because people were told to suck it up and weren't dealing with stress, and then they walking into work and killing people. So workplace trauma, I'm kind of glad to hear that because I think it's a real thing. So I want to let you talk about that because you just said this is a big part of your business right now.
Oh yeah. It's one of the bigger parts of it, bro. And to your point, you asked a very serious question. I think I'm uniquely, qualified to answer. And yes, it's still a thing, right? Like the suck it up is still a thing because there are many of us who still kind of cling to those ways, like you said, we grew up on. I mean, one of the things, health department I work with a lot, one of the things we worked with them on is the intergenerational dynamics, right? Like something that somebody said that I think is relevant, right, is I use my son as an example. My son is 21 going on 22. And during a very critical stage in his life, he went through this thing we all went through and it impacted us differently, which is COVID. This lady in this training I was doing made a good point. When we were teenagers, young people, we ended up working in the job, whether we were cutting grass, whether we worked at McDonald's or a pizza place, whatever we did, retail, we worked somewhere, developed those basic professionalism skills that, carry us today. Show up on time. If you're not going to be there, let somebody know. Working with your teammates, taking directives, following up. If you're confused, ask the question. Like these real basic things that we know, a group of our population that is now entering the workforce in professional capacities didn't get that. They couldn't. They weren't able to. They were in school online. The job that you couldn't go anywhere. And then people lost a lot of jobs who may be older, and they were. I can remember where I read this article at, but they were saying how younger folks aren't getting that same job experience because older people who need work are getting in at these kind of deemed entry level kind of positions. Not talking down on what anybody has going, just simply saying that this is an impact that we an unintended consequence that we didn't see. So I'm saying that to say like this intergenerational dynamic. If I come in and I don't really understand certain aspects of professional work, just work environments, because I didn't experience it. But we came up in a time, again, especially for those of us from my perspective, who have certain cultural narratives we have to adhere to, right? You work hard, you don't call off, you show up whether you're sick, and like all these different things that we may have been taught growing up. This younger generation, in my experience, is like, nah, if I don't feel it, I ain't coming in today. I'm mentally, I don't have it. And we're like, but it's work. You're supposed to work, but this is the disconnect. And a lot of people are having a hard time with it because, again, a lot of us came up in that old guard, bro. So I think that it's still there, it's still lingering. And I believe, and I know that some organizations are getting it quicker. They're like, oh, this is something different. We can't keep weaponizing resilience on people. We can't keep telling them to show up to work. We can't keep pacifying them with a pizza party or some donuts and think that that's enough to keep them coming.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we got to do a little more. We got to show some intention and actually, train people, equip managers, do these various things that people in my field, I feel like are uniquely prepared to do because we do it every day anyway. So it's kind of a twofold thing, right? Well, yeah, there's still fragments of that old guard that are still there, that are still holding to these very, my opinion, antiquated norms of, hey, and that doesn't mean we don't need to be professional. We don't need to hold people accountable and stuff. That ain't what I'm saying. I'm just saying that honoring the whole human is becoming more and more important for people to see that innovation, to see that team morale, to see productivity increase if you honor that whole person. So that's my perspective on it, from what I've experienced.
Nice. And I like that. I like that because, like I said, that workplace trauma thing is real. You know, that is real. You know, you see it more so now with the younger generation, and you do see the older crowd. You know, you get upset, you feel like you're pulling, but it's a real thing. So let's talk about PTSD also, because you know you do it, your family counseling. You deal with, you know, keeping families together and helping with issues. Veteran families, first responder families, they all deal with this PTSD. Women who have been in abusive relationships and now marry a new guy, but she's still carrying PTSD from, I mean, that's a very real thing, right? That's the type of stuff that you got to come in and, you know, how do you deal with that? How would you deal with that? You've got a couple that's in there, family that's in there, and a woman's whole issue is based on PTSD from a previous. It's got to be hard and how to work through that. And,
yeah, man. So I'll say, and I'm gonna throw you alley-oop because it's it ain't just a gender thing, right? Like some of us brothers, we hold on to stuff too. And I think that because how many of us were socialized as men, I'm answering your question, but I want to throw this out there. We often aren't taught to express certain things, right? Like we don't have the language to express how we feel or how certain things have made us feel. And so I think that, you know, for us, when I'm in sessions with folks, like the biggest part of the work I do is just getting people to understand each other. Like I tell stories, bro. This is something I do a lot of training and workshops on. So you got to roll with me.
I'm here. This is what we're here for.
So I interned and I still do work with a sex therapy practice here in Atlanta. And my first day, I had a lesbian couple in front of me. Now, there was one part of the couple that was presented, as you would say, typical female. And there's the other partner in the couple who you would say present as kind of masculine.
Stud. Yep.
Right.
Stud. Yep.
Right. I'm not saying that. You said I don't want nobody coming for me.
I mean, that's what you see on Instagram. That's what they
That's
call
what we call it.
So.
Hey, like I said, I don't want nobody coming for me trying to Dr. Umar me. Like, I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, we good. This is what it is. So, but I say that to say that, to your point, I'm in this session. It's like one of my first ones I have. And I'm in school. I'm learning these things. And they say, you know, you got the person, you got one partner, you got the other partner, you know, could be multiple partners depending on type of relationship. And then you got the couple together. That's how you got to look at it. You can't just look at one person because you'll find yourself siding with the person who kind of is like you.
Right.
And so my first session, I'm in this, you know, and that's what I'm doing. Like I didn't know I was doing until I talked to my supervisor. I'm like, I felt like the one partner was making the most sense because the other partner, the one who presented as the female, really wasn't expressing herself clearly. She would cry a lot. And as a man, that's one of all the tears and the sniffling and all that, I shut down. Like, well, not anymore, but I used to, like, I can't deal with all this emotional stuff, right?
Right.
My point in bringing that story up is that, like, I had to learn, right, how to take myself out of it and really attempt to help the other person hear what the other person is saying.
Right.
Because through those sniffles, through those incomplete sentences, through those different things, a person is trying to say something. And if I'm socialized as just kind of be logical or to kind of look at the problem and fix the problem and things like that, I'm going to miss what the person who's kind of speaking from their heart is saying. Conversely, if I'm constantly speaking from my heart, then I might not understand where there's a disconnect with this other person who's just trying to fix the problem. You might just be venting. I might be thinking there's a problem. And so And I'm trying to fix the problem. I want you to stop crying. I don't know what else to do. So why are you crying? How can we stop it? I just want you to, you know what I'm saying? And that's one of those big disconnects that happen. And I think that we all bring something to these relationships. And so my job is to help kind of unpack that. And to your point, for many of us, whether it be past relationships, parental issues, family origin issues, again, one thing that comes up a lot is religion, how a person was raised in their church. Oh man, religion. Hold that thought, bro. I told you I'm a preacher's kid, so everything I'm saying from firsthand knowledge and from professionals. I'm not talking about nothing. Yeah, I'm only gonna speak about stuff from my experience, right? And I'm saying that because all these things shape how we show up. And one of the things about one of the things I train on a lot, and I've been trained in myself, is cultural humility. And one of the things we talk about is cultural relativity, which simply means like everybody experiences, engages in the world differently, depending on how they were socialized. And it sounds simple until you really think about how many times two people have had a disconnect just because we see the world two totally different ways, and we can't step back and be like, oh, you know, Keith is from Brockton, Massachusetts. They move a certain way in Brockton. I'm from Dayton, Ohio, but I live in Atlanta. We move a certain way down here. There's a difference there that might cause a disconnect. That little taking a second to pause and really like reflect and process that kind of stuff causes so many misunderstandings. People don't. And you talk about social media. You see it on social media every day where people just have these disconnects. So yeah, that past trauma really does show up in relationships. And but it's also our responsibility to be aware of it, be aware of these things that activate us, be aware of these unresolved issues that we have. Like I got daddy issues and I know they ain't going nowhere, but I understand that. So I try to manage them. And when I recognize there are certain things that come from this unresolved issue with my father, then I know I've done enough work on myself. I'm aware, okay, look, this is daddy stuff. This ain't got nothing to do with this person. You know what I'm saying? So this is on me to deal with that. Now, if that person is constantly activating you, that's a whole nother conversation. You know what I'm saying? We need to deal with it. But if you're in a situation where it's your mess, you got to deal with your mess. And many people don't want to deal with their mess. So.
Wow. And I got to circle back because you talked about
For
something. Sure. You mentioned something that's been in the major news circuit for a minute here. You mentioned about having counseling with people that are in relationships with multiple partners. And for those who haven't been paying attention with social media, there is this growing group of people going public lately these days. Neo, to name one, there are these people who have these agreements now. They're married, but they have multiple partners. And for me, I can't get it. I don't understand it. But this is a growing group of people who were originally, I think these people have always been there. And I think it's one of these things that have just been off the books. But because of social media and because now the media has grabbed onto it, we're now seeing a part of people that has been out there, but we never really saw it. And, you know, Neo's out here talking about that he got 2 women, you know, and they're all good with it. 4, it's like 4. Yeah. So this is crazy too. And, you know, and I never thought when you said you have family counseling, I never thought that multiple partners would be showing up. I was always thinking ignorantly and thinking family partner counseling is just a one-on-one. I didn't even think that you could have multiple partners and be, because I don't know how you could do it, because I would be sitting there with my head split. I'd be looking at everybody like, what the?
Bro, I always tell people, bro, like, it ain't too much I haven't heard. You know what I mean? I've been doing this work a long time, bro. Like, I ain't gonna date myself. I tell people I turn 27 in a couple days, literally. I feel that young, you know what I'm saying? I feel good, but I've been in this game a long time, and there's not too much I haven't heard. And I say that to say, to your point, back to those that first year or so, I was in my internship practicum trying to, you know, figure out my lane. And I'm like, what is, I grew up in the Pentecostal church, which is one of the strictest, denominations in the church. So there's a lot of stuff. And I say this, I want to say this, and I hope people don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But I say this based on my professional experience, my personal. So this is completely subjective. I'm just willing to bet it's probably way more prevalent than how many people I've seen in my career.
Wow.
The church, and I don't mean God, I don't mean any of that. I'm talking about the church as the institution has impacted human sexuality in such a way. Like it's so damaging, bro. I wish I could put it in, like, I'm trying to articulate it and be respectful. But it's like there's so many unintended consequences of like shame and repressed sexual expression, all these different things. And to your point, this stuff has been here for thousands of years. Thousands of years.
I mean, real talk, we're really seeing the effects of the Catholic Church scandal. A lot of those kids and boys are now
absolutely
older men.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and we're starting to see that type of stuff. You know, we're seeing it. We're seeing that's what we're seeing. So Renee White's in the chat. She said to you, shoot, just dealing with one person spins my head.
And listen to, we didn't even get to that. So like the thing, to your point, Renee, like the thing that I take away, right, from these polyamorous or polygamous couples is this concept of negotiated non-monogamy, right? Where before we get into this, let's have a discussion. Let's figure out our boundaries. Let's figure out what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, et cetera, et cetera. Now, because we're humans, we push boundaries change, things like that happen. However, I'm willing to bet a lot of us who would be in considered, traditional monogamous relationships, one partner, we never sat down and negotiated terms. I'll give a good example of something that happens a lot that I've experienced. I know friends of mine, I'm not gonna put them on blast, they may be listening. But like this scenario happens a lot more than people care to talk about. You ready for it, bro? And I would love to get your feedback on this. Many men have come to me, again, personally and also in counseling, because they have an issue with pornography or looking at visually stimulating imagery. But this is how it became a thing. They're in their relationship and there was no discussion about pornography. The partner catches them watching this stuff, whatever it is. That ain't the point. And that partner feels like they've been cheated on because this partner is watching pornography. Because there was no discussion about pornography, even social media, and the access to these images and this stuff. It's so easy. We were growing up and we had to get a tape, then we had to get DVD. It was a whole thing. You know what I'm saying? You had to get a magazine and sneak, make sure people wasn't, you know what I'm saying? And watching, Scramble HBO or Scramble Cinemax after dark, like all this stuff that, bro, these young people and people now, man, there are people who are at work because people working from home and they on their other laptop or their phone watching stuff. Like this is a whole man. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And my point is like, because there's no discussion around it, the other party feels betrayed, right? And so, and that's one of the unintended consequences of pornography. Another one, let's just you mentioned the church too. I'm gonna tie it in. This is all stuff I've heard, y'all. Take it as you will. There's a lot of guys, because I work primarily with men. There are a lot of guys who come to me because, to the point of other sexual experiences, right? They want to experience different things sexually with their partner. However, or they want variety, they want other partners. But because of how they were conditioned, how they were socialized, how they came up, right? Or what the church said, or what their religion said, what the imam said, the pastor, whoever. Right? This goes across religious traditions. They don't want to cheat. So they think it's okay enough. It's better just to watch some pornography. And back to the example I just gave, instead of having conversations and expressing changing needs and being able to have this dialogue because of how taboo sex still is. Like sex is so weird, like it's open, it's out there, but it's still taboo to talk about certain aspects of it. That whole thing, bro, is a real causes a lot of distress for people because they're like, man, I want this stuff. My partner's not going to give it to me. What am I supposed to do? And so they end up defaulting to this, making the situation. So it's a lot, bro, that goes into what you're talking about. So like, I wish I could give like, but it's so complex. And I feel like it's important when I get these platforms to share just how complex it is. To get people know you ain't the only person dealing with this, man. Shoot yourself some bail. Like, we all kind of trying to figure this thing out as we go. And I think we're taught to be expected to have answers. And a lot of us don't. And that's, I don't give answers. Like, and sometimes that frustrates people because people are like, okay, so what do I got to do to get better? I don't know, man. What do you got to, this is your life. I'm going to give you some feedback. I'm going to answer some questions. I'm going to give you some suggestions. But if you don't walk it out.
Right, yeah, exactly. If you don't go and do what you're supposed to do and take care of it, yeah, that's
for sure.
That is funny. That is super funny. If you guys got any questions in the chat,
oh yeah,
see
please.
You all out there. Thank you for tuning in. Drop these in. Lamarr Lewis, he is down there. You're in Atlanta now, and we also got to talk about this successful event that you missed that I definitely want to be a part of and help you promote next year.
For sure.
You had this event about 2 months ago, this boxing event for stress. You want to talk about that? I want you to really put that out there too.
Absolutely. So I'm here. So I got on my shirt. I don't know if y'all can see it. Shout out to Kev. He designed it. We actually gonna turn this into a book. He don't know that yet. But we turn this to a kid's book. My mother, Valerie Lewis Coleman, helps people publish books independently. So we're going to turn this to a children's book. But the concept is knock out stress. So I can't tell you about the event without telling you how it started. So 2 years ago in February, my youngest son passed away, and I was struggling. I can't really say it no other way. I've always been an active guy. I've always been moving around. You've been on the call and seen me working out and stuff like that. When that happened, I didn't want to do nothing. So long story long, during my grieving time, my more acute grieving time, because grieving, that's a whole nother thing. But I was able, a friend of mine opened up a gym. And so I went to his grand opening. I enjoyed the space, and I was like, hey man, can I just come to the gym and train? Like, I've trained in the past, sparred and stuff like that. But I was like, I need something to move. If I don't move, I don't physically feel well. Like, my mental health goes down. Like, I need to move. And this is something all of us humans need to move, right? But this is the lesson I'm getting to. So going to the gym, and I loved it, fell back in love with it, going every day, multiple days. When I'm out of town, I'm finding gyms to work out at. And through this, I'm processing this grief. So the end of 2024, I read this article. I'm boxing my favorite sport. So shout out to, rest in power to Marvelous Marvin. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorites. I want to make sure I said it out loud. Because, I know my Brockton folks would be mad at. That's my guy. Mark Hagler's my guy. I want to make sure I say that. I want to be. I want to say that. But in all seriousness, like, I'm reading this article about boxing and grief, just randomly during the week. And then one day, I'm leaving the gym. I'm saying peace out to everybody. And it hit me like, you need to do something. And I don't know what it hit me. I told my coach, I said, hey, I got an idea. I haven't fully fleshed it out yet. Let me go home and write it out. I'm going to come back tomorrow and present it to you. So I went home, did just that, and I wanted to combine mental health and boxing. So we did the first one December 9th of 2024, and it went really well. And it was more so for the holidays. And then all of last year, I didn't do anything. To be quite honest, man, shifts in the current administration shifted my business landscape. And so I was really focused on trying to keep the lights on. So I didn't really have the extra bandwidth to, because everything I did was out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? I paid to get t-shirts made. I paid gym. I paid the trainers. I paid, everything was out of pocket. 2024, that was easier to do. 2025 just wasn't on my mind. In the midst of it, people kept asking me, hey man, you gonna do another event? I heard you gonna do another event. So end of April, the last person asked me, my homeboy Logic, I said, all right, I gotta do it again. So we did it the Sunday, May 17th. So I picked it in between Mother's Day and in between Memorial Day. So couldn't nobody say it was that. It was very well attended. We had a lot of speakers. My guy Sincere, the creative, came and spoke on mental health and holistic wellness. Chris James, he came and spoke about just how your thoughts influence your actions and feelings. Then another guy who coaches at the gym, who actually be here today in a little bit, he and sidebar, I started training at the gym. So I train people at the gym now too. So this is all gonna be relevant in a second. The guy at the gym, we talk or whatever, and his son died by suicide last year.
Ooh.
So he wanted to share. His son was like 30, 31 when this happened. So when I first met him, he said it. And this was like late last year when he said, hey man, I heard you a therapist. I'm like, yeah. He's like, man, I be needing to talk to somebody sometimes. I found myself. He told me the whole story. I don't want to get all into it.
Right.
But a reason why the men's group started was because a friend of mine 10 years ago died by suicide. And that made me be more aware of what men are going through. Because I didn't think about men and suicide. Now we know it's a thing and it's heightened, and men have a higher rate of completion because they use lethal means. You mentioned the gun range earlier, right? Things like that, right?
Yeah.
So
suicide by cop, it's a real statistic.
You talk about that often. You know what I'm saying? These different things I was unaware of at the time. 10 years ago, I was focused on a whole nother lane. And so to know that men are like having a hard time with their mental health and to the point where they want to die by suicide, that didn't register to me. So, and if you think about everything else we talked about with how we've been raised and the narratives we hear and showing up for work and showing up without outlets. And this is going to circle back to your PTSD thing too. So the event, in the mix of it now, I've learned that bilateral movement helps connect parts of the brain to deal with trauma. Sometimes we can't articulate our trauma, but physically we can help process it and metabolize it, right? So the boxing is really just an inroad to help you deal with your mental health. Just like the men's group is just an inroad to help people talk about these things. It's not therapy. That's a whole nother thing. But this is to help you break down that barrier to say, you know what? I feel like I need to go ahead and talk to somebody a little more in depth about some of my own personal stuff that I'm dealing with. Or you know what? I do feel better after I finish moving. I don't know what it is, but I just feel better. You don't know that these neurotransmitters are firing off and the dopamine and all that, the oxytocin, all that stuff is jumping off and all these different things are happening to you internally. So boxing is just a way for people to move their bodies. Number one, be healthy. But number two, to help make those connections in their brain, help them process trauma, grief, all the stuff they deal with. I don't know if you, I know you've seen, what's her name? Krishan Rock. She's boxing now. Yeah. But there's a video of her boxing and crying. She's hitting the mitts and the guy's coaching her, but she's bawling like, and it's like, people who don't know are like, man, why is she doing that? But I knew all that mess she had been through, all that stuff she's going through is coming out while she's punching stuff.
Right.
That's what it's for, bro. How many boxers, I'm sure Hagler's journey is similar to this, but I don't know off the top of my head, but I know a lot of boxers, they end up at the gym because of trauma. They've been bullied, they've been picked on, they've been whatever. And you're gonna go to the gym to learn how to protect yourself. And they end up becoming who they are. Muhammad Ali is a perfect example, right? Like, it's if you treat it right, it's really it's a temple to me. It's a place where as I move my body, I'm honoring my ancestors and I'm honoring God. I'm honoring the higher power because I'm using what I'm given. Even if I can't say, I could say it, but I'm giving myself an example. Even though I want to say I miss my son every day, this hurts. How do I live with this? Like all these things that I'm dealing with internally as I move around, as I process, as I work with a person who's there and supports me. Mm-hmm. It helps me work through that, even if I can't articulate. So I wanted to give that same experience to others to say, hey, come into this temple, come into this place where we lay bare our pain and have people here who want to see you do well, who want to support you, and go meet you where you are. It's just a model, bro, for like, to me, how humans should be with each other. We don't get it right all the time. You know what I mean? But like, can I meet you where you at? Can I still support you through these difficult moments and have spaces of safety? So that's the it's a long answer, but I got ADHD, so I verbally process, bro. So I tell you all the time, I'm gonna get to the point. You just gotta roll me on the journey.
No, man, no, I love it. You're dropping nuggets, and I know people just tuned in. If you just heard that term, suicide by cop, and what he was talking about there. One of the reasons why suicide cop is prevalent in black males, and it's scary when you think about this. You know, suicide by cop as a way for black men to commit suicide. Even at their lowest moment and in death, you're still going out the hard way. And that's crazy.
Hold on, wait. Let that breathe. That was a bar. You said they still choose to do what? Go out the what?
Go out the hard way.
Because I'm sorry. That hit me in my chest. I just wanted to make sure everybody got that. That was deep.
And when I looked at the numbers and I got those numbers, I was like, that's what cried out to me. I'm like, even in the end, we still going out hard. We still going out the way that we might be stressful from. You know what I'm saying? Because we're taught not to be weak. We're taught not to. So, okay, I'm going to take myself out of this situation, but I'm still going out hard. I'm still going, you know what I'm saying? And we just had that in Boston. I put it in our chat. We had this in Boston just 2 months ago. Black man, he called his probation officer. He called his family. He said, hey, I'm not in the right space. I'm not doing well. He called his probation. Look, this is how I'm feeling. And then they couldn't get to him in time. And this man went up on a highway, main throughway, and just started, you know what I'm saying? He was looking to die. But in his mind, he's like, I'm going out hard. And that's crazy. Still, as a black man, you want to get your life. You don't want to take your own life. You're gonna let somebody else take it out, but you're gonna go hard.
Yeah,
like you still trying to get street cred.
I've never heard it that way. I've never heard it that way. Until you saying it that way makes it more. I won't say more real because it's very real, but it just hits home a little differently because and I'm gonna walk it back from talking about suicide to how we live life. And I want to make the connection, right? To how some people are like, how does somebody even get there? How does somebody even get to a point where they want to even do that to themselves? And, you know, let me just break some stigma down. I'm going to tell it to you in the story I heard. A guy, last week I was in Maryland doing some work with a community-based mental health organization. And the owner, we met up for dinner. We talked, you know, beforehand, kind of want to give me what's going on and, you know, just deep into the working relationship. But he told me a story, and this is the point I'm about to get to. He said his grandson lives in Spokane, Washington. They're out in like Annapolis, Maryland. So Annapolis ain't as hot as Georgia for sure, but it's hotter than it is out in Spokane. Right. So the young man comes, stays with him for a couple weeks in the summer, and they go to this boardwalk nearby. And the grandson's complaining the whole time. Oh my God, it's so hot. How do y'all do it, man? My God, it's so hot. Man, it's terrible out here. Man, my God, it's so hot. Man, I can't do this. It's so hot. The guy I know, you know what I'm saying, Jim Crossing, Advocate Sports Services, shout y'all out. He was like, he talking to his grandson. He said, do you think you're the only person who's hot out here? Like, everybody's hot. But they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves, they're spending time with the people that they care about or whatever they're doing. This is the bar to what you just said. Are you choosing to suffer? Are you choosing to suffer? How does that correlate? For many of us, we've been taught to endure suffering. And many times it's just about perspective. That's one of the biggest things we work on in therapy and counseling and stuff like that. It's perspective, just shifting your perspective. The thing that happened ain't gonna change. It's hot for all of us. But how you view the heat man, it's hot. That means when I get this ice cream, it's gonna be even better. Who likes ice cream when it's cold? I like ice cream when it's hot. Right? Not, oh my God, the ice cream's gonna melt. But now I get a chance to enjoy. This is a summertime thing. Man, summertime means, you like to mention it all the time, sundresses. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's the best part of this. You see what I'm saying? It's all about perspective. And it's hot. Like I'm saying, it's hot. But are we choosing to suffer? And for many of us, we've been taught to suffer. We've been reinforced for us to suffer. Not look at the good in life. We're always looking at what's wrong. And if you perpetually look for what's wrong, you'll find it. And then that justifies some unhealthy thoughts that we might have. And it don't even have to extend all the way out to suicide or homicide, killing somebody else, right? But how many people are miserable in their life because they can't find nothing good in it? They're here. They're going to endure. But why? People endure in relationships they don't like. Why? You can't find nothing good? But that's my point, to your point. How does one get to this point? If all I see is negativity, all I see is suffering, and when we go through various things in our life, that's a natural response to it. But hopefully you got people in your life or situations in your life, you can be like, okay, wait a minute. It ain't that bad. Okay, wait a minute, there is some good. And you can start pulling yourself out of that. But a lot of people don't.
Right.
And you mentioned social media, bro. You see it on social media. There's some miserable people. You can post a beautiful thing. Your artist got a dope song. Somebody like, man, I don't like how she's saying. Man, she ugly anyway. Just stuff that don't say nothing. Right. But people have to. Right. And because there's no accountability, I can say what I want to say. And I'm saying those things because those things aren't true. I'm just giving an example of what people say all the time without any consequences for the stuff they say and do. And so because people are so miserable, I try my best daily to strive to be a light, to do things that help people improve. So that's why I get excited about opportunities like this, because hopefully I said something in all of my rambling and my pontification. And somebody can say, you know what? That, I don't care about it, but that one thing he said, bro, was on point. I'm saying, like, because it's rough, man. And some people don't have a men's group they can go to just to kind of talk about whatever. Have people to kind of hold, you know what I'm saying, be there for them, meet them. Like some people don't have that. Or they don't feel they had that. So that's how we end up with people, as you said, choosing to go out the hard way no matter how they're going out. Or making life harder for other people. Because they're unhappy with themselves and how their life turned out, man. So I just hope in my life's work, my mission is to leave the world better than how I found. So I hope that anybody's life I'm a part of, even if we're not cool no more, I did something to make it a little bit better. That's my hope. And that's what I hope for everybody.
Right. And it's crazy because, you know, like I said earlier, I have a love-hate relationship with social media, you know, and it's one of the things I have also learned about being on social media is that social media has thrust mental health into our faces because you are seeing a lot of people with mental health issues. Britney Spears is a great example of someone who has a mental health issue problem. She was put into a conservatorship and, you know, everybody fought for her freedom and for Britney to be free. And now a big percentage of those people, they know why Britney was in conservatorship because she's got mental health issues and it's crazy. And, you know, thankfully, knock on wood, she's still here with us, but I feel like this story is going to end badly. And that right there is mental health issues thrust in your face. I don't like why they allow her to have a social media, her people, whoever is in control of her, but that's one of her happy places. So I think that's kind of why it's out there and it's allowed, but she definitely has issues. Renee White says, sounds like the negative comments on positive posts, Keith. Yes, Renee, you're right. There's nothing more worse than posting a post and then someone will come on and say, I didn't like blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it's like, well, why'd you even come out here and put that on here if you don't even care? If you don't care, then don't come out here. It's
Can I add something? You just said something, and I'm glad Renee brought that back because you asked something earlier, and I don't know if I clearly responded to it when you mentioned how social media impacts families. But that's a great example. Because for younger folks, I mean, older folks, who don't get me wrong, but I know for younger folks, social media is like real. So like if I post something and it gets negative, like they internalize that as them being deficient and stuff like that. And or they're comparing themselves. This goes across generations. I'm just speaking to young people, how it impacts families specifically. People are comparing themselves to these other people's highlights. Like, we don't post pictures of us with, you know, boogers in our nose and, you know, snot and, you know what I'm saying? We got to carefully edit it and show only parts of it and, you know, things like that. And I get it. We want to present our best foot forward. But like, I remember, I think about fitness influencers, right? When I first got like on YouTube, for example, I followed the OG fitness influencers, you know, CT Fletchers, Elliot Hulses, those type of guys, right? You know, Chris Jones, all them guys, Hodge twins before they transitioned to whatever they into now. And you look at certain, and I'm not saying these guys specifically, but a bunch of influencers like were on the juice. So, or this is what they do for a living. So you comparing yourself to somebody who can work out 3-4 hours a day, might be taking some kind of extracurricular, you know what I'm saying, medications, you know what I'm trying to say. But you just a regular dude trying to work out 30 minutes a day because that's all the time you got to take care of you know what I'm saying? Now you're driving yourself crazy trying to meet these unrealistic expectations, but nobody's having these conversations. Or back to the pornography conversation. Not realizing that pornography is a movie.
Right.
You comparing yourself to movies. Like, that means there's editing, there's special effects, there's acting. This isn't real. But a lot of us, because we got terrible sex education, learn sex through pornography. Pornography ain't real. So now we go into these relationships expecting, you know, man's penis to be hard instantly, expecting a woman's vagina to do all kind of crazy things. And these things aren't real life. But that's what we're taught. You see what I'm saying? And we don't think about how all these things impact people's lives and their families, you know, and people's dissatisfaction with life because you're comparing your things that just aren't real. This stuff is not real. So that's how it impacts families. Oh, such and such got it all together. No, they don't. Their pictures are together. Their posts are together. Very curated.
I just had that situation. I met up with a close buddy of mine. I DJ'd his daughter's wedding a year and a half ago. All the pictures and everything was great. And then all of a sudden, Valentine's Day of this year, she's with some other dude. And I talked to my buddy. I'm like, bro, what happened to so-and-so? He's like, you don't want to know. He's like, this, and this. And you hear all this shit was going on. But if you go to their Facebook, it was like everything was, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you see that a lot on social media. You see people that come on and be like, oh, so-and-so, I'm not with this person no more. And you're like, what the hell? And because they built that perception. Perception. So, damn, we had 7:55.
I told you I can talk, bro. It don't take long.
Yeah, no, this was a good discussion. Renee White says racist comments too. Yeah, and the funny thing about the racist comments too, Renee, is some of these people learn in the hard way that, you know, I see one of the things I see is freedom of speech. No, you don't have freedom of speech on social media. You can still be held accountable. People are having their comments forwarded to their jobs, and people are losing their jobs for stuff they posted because companies like, we don't want you working for us.
Yeah,
this white guy just confronted this other white guy who was with his daughters in the bathroom. And for me, back in the day, if you were a father of daughters and you had to take your daughters to the bathroom, you didn't take them in the men's room. You took them in the ladies' room. That's exactly what you did. You brought your daughters in the ladies' room. And most women, a guy came in and said something to this guy and harassed this guy. And now this guy, he was a realtor. And the video went viral. And the realty company's like, hey, we don't want anybody like that associated with us. And he was fired.
And that's all
I see all these people talking about freedom of speech. He has freedom of speech. He can sue. And it's like, nah, you don't, bro, you don't have freedom of speech when you harassing somebody's rights or color or their rights as a father. That's
and for some people it's easier, some organizations easier. I would take the lawsuit. Well, it's easier to pay you off to get you out the way than to deal with the potential other backlash of us being associated with you. And the thing that I've learned about social media is like some people really have time. Like for me, I don't care enough to do no research on. I just am not gonna do all that. I'm old school in the way, and this is how I was raised by my grandfather. If I got a problem with you, and my mother too, if I got a problem with you, I'm gonna just see you. And whatever's gonna be when I see you is gonna be. You know, I'm okay with that. That's why I don't put myself in certain situations, because I know how I am. I know that about myself, bro. That's why I stay cool. I respect all humans. I stay out of people's business. But if it go there, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm comfortable there.
I'm getting dragged on social media here in Brockton, which is funny because Cape Verde tied last week, and they tied again this week. And, you know, there was talks about the celebration. There was this guy on the post. He was talking all this racist stuff about Cape Verdeans. And I saw his name, but I didn't know what he looked like. But I knew his car. He had this old school car. So this week, I'm like, oh, you know, I seen the car in the gas station. So I pull and I said, oh, you know what? Let me go talk to this dude. I get out my car, and I see the dude. This dude's like a 70-year-old little ass white guy. So now I see him, and I'm like, man, I can't check this guy. I'm a big black dude. I'm 5'10", 290. I said, and I'm in the gas station. I said, I go up to this guy. Public perception is going to be, I'm the asshole. My business is this. So I decided, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to post pictures and let this guy know, hey, I could have been this type of person and snatched you up. But you know what it turned into? It turned into everybody saying, oh, you're a keyboard warrior. You should have said something to him. The smart people got it. I got a brand. I got a business. People know me. You people like you come on my show. I can't have that happen. I work for a company that services buses for Logan Airport under the state. You know what I'm saying? I can't have a perception of that because I'm going to lose my job. Keith Hayes, the podcaster, snatched up an old white guy, 70 years old, in the gas station. I'm losing my job, bro. I'm losing my business.
Yeah. But it's a lesson, too. It's a lesson that how accessible people are. Like, you think you're distant from stuff, but you're actually very accessible. If a person, again, if people got time, they'll find it. That's what some people that's what they do. They just find stuff.
So here's the crazy part now. The dude is in my inbox now talking all types of crap. So I said, okay, now you've made it personal. See, before I was just defending Cape Verde and stuff. But now if I run into you, I'm going to say, hey, say what you got to say now. And I'm pretty sure you're going.
and that's, bro, and as a person who, and anybody who's like trained in a martial art or just been to a gym and been hitting your face before, like, you know, there are ramifications for the way you speak to people, for how you treat people. And if you've been in a situation, you don't want more. Some people like that kind of stuff. Let me pause there. But for people like to your point, who may have a little bit, like my grandma would say, some common sense, which ain't common, but that's another story for another day. Like, you know, I don't want to do anything like that. I don't want, like, that's why the martial artists, but like, we don't want to fight nobody. Like, because I know what I'm going to do. Even I don't care how big you are, small, like, I know what I'm going to do. So why would I put myself in those situations? And because people don't get, this is my humble opinion, these are the opinions of Lamarr Lewis, not anybody else. I feel that if people don't get checked every now and then, they feel like they got carte blanche to say what they want to say. That's the whole Chud the Builder situation. You can say what you want to say, then the person really put hands and feet on you. Now you want to call the police. Now you want to try to shoot somebody or something like that. But you've escalated these situations with your mouth. And because I said, people, you can say whatever you want to say. You get in jabs distance to me, you're going to catch something. So just say whatever you can be on the other side. I don't care what you say over there. You get close enough for me to touch you, I'm going to touch you. Because I've said, because I'm the type, and I tell this to people all the time, bro. If you hear, and say the men's group come, and you hear Lamar's in jail for PDF stuff, come get me. It's a lie. I would never. I'm not going to do nothing like that. They say never say never. Never will that happen to me. I don't play them games.
Right.
If you hear about me going to jail for assault, let me sit. I knew what I was doing. That means I told this person multiple times to leave me alone, and they still encroached on my into my personal space, and they got everything they was asking for. That's
right. You want
the only
smoke,
that's it. I'm not going to, because I don't move around the earth that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to spread love. I want people to be well. Like, I don't want. Yes, I pass. Like, some people might call it a deference. I open doors for people. I step out the way. I can wait. Like, it's cool to be, because I know those little things, depending on somebody's frame of mind that day, can set somebody off. So I'm straight. I don't need to go to the door first. Go ahead. You ain't got to say thank you. It annoys me when you don't, but you got it. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
but my point is, as long as we respect each other as humans, I'm fine. And if you disrespect me, cool. Just don't come into my personal space, put your hands or something on me or anybody I care about, and we'll be fine. I'm not going to try to impede on somebody's humanity. That's just not how I am. And I think that social media allows you to do that without having to be in somebody's space and say, hey, Keith, you this, you that, you this, you that. Yeah, you black, da, 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 woo, woo. I can say that from the other side of the world and never see you. But like, if we in the same space, unless you throw alcohol in the situation, that's usually when people kind of get a little more broward. But if we are both sober, most people just gonna sit there to themselves and not say nothing. They might be thinking it. You can think whatever you want to think. I don't care. But you're not gonna say it. And that's the kind of thing that I would say frustrates me about the current state of humanity, is that the ramifications for the way people talk to other people. You know, some people just get away with just saying this stuff that, again, I can't imagine talking about people's dead family members and like all that kind of stuff.
Stuff that you really got clocked for back in the day. There was some things I see people say stuff online that I'm like, bro, back in the day.
Furniture movement.
You talking about telling people to pull up? They would have been pulled up, bro. So we're at 8:04. Let's blow through these topics here. I got Lamarr Lewis on from Lewis Family Counseling. In the news booth here in Brockton, the Brockton Boys and Girls Club. This has been going on for almost, I want to say, 5 years now. It's now done. The expansion has been approved, so the Boys and Girls Club will be getting a much-needed expansion. As you know, the Patriots players come through here. Jaylen Brown was here. AJ Dybantsa was there. He gave away some sneakers, and we needed that expansion, so great to see that approved. Also, just right outside my job today, this morning, that car pinned under the tanker in Chelsea, that was right outside my job. I believe that person might have passed. That car was deep under that tanker, so I got to find out exactly what happens. Renee White's in the chat. She says, thank you for your time, knowledge, and input this evening. Lamarr Lewis, that was from Renee White. Renee White, please make sure to follow him. He is out there on social media and stuff. I'm going to let him give that stuff out before we close the show out. Also in the entertainment booth, Nicolas Cage and Terry Crews are the latest to be added to Call of Duty video game for skins. I'll be getting the Terry Crews one, and we'll be seeing me out there under their Sinister One. In the sports booth, as I just mentioned, it's 8 o'clock. The draft is beginning, NBA draft. AJ Dybantsa from Brockton looks like he is probably going to go number one. If he goes number one, that would be the Washington Wizards. And that would put them immediately in the discussion of playoffs right away. AJ Dybantsa is something special. He was the number one high school student in the nation. Brockton right now is on a high. We got the number one player in the draft here, and then also in the sports booth, Cape Verde, who wasn't even supposed to be here, wasn't even supposed to last in the first round. They tied with Spain. They tied this week with Uruguay 2-2, scored their first goal. Kevin Pina, who scored the goal, actually is from Brockton, so he'll be coming home. But, all these people here that don't get it, ties are still point in FIFA, so they gain 1 point. They're the third best team in their ladder. They will be taking on Saudi Arabia on Friday, and I know a lot of racist people were out here bashing the Cape Verdeans because they're out in the street partying after these ties, and people who don't understand the sport, they don't understand, and they're making all these racist comments. I'm not even going to get into that. The funniest thing that I've been seeing about, and this is Lamarr can vouch for it, I'm always in the men's group talking about the Cape Verdean women in our city because not many people know about Cape Verdean women and how pretty they are. Now, to see that on a national level and hearing Shay talk about it on the Shay show, I'm seeing all these brothers now talking about, wait a minute, well, how did I not know about Cape Verde? I saw, Shay and them, they was like, we gotta go up to Boston. He was like, no. He's like, I'm not going to Boston. He seen the pictures. He was like, no, I'm staying right.
My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it, brother.
So Cape Verdean women have been thrust to the forefront because of this Cape Verdean thing, dudes. And I'm seeing dudes post about, I'm like, man, bro, I've been living in Brockton. So I've been known. I've been known about the curly haired, 36, 24, 36. You know, I've been known about it, and you're gonna see a lot more of it if they keep tying and keep winning. Tonight in Boston, Ghana and England ended in a draw at the Boston Stadium. So now we've got Haiti and Morocco tomorrow. There's a watch party at the Brockton Rock Stadium because we have that contingency of Haitian people here. So we want to get them down there and be able to check that out. Are you watching any EDF? Do you watch FIFA at all?
Nah, man, I ain't been keeping up. I used to play soccer when I was growing up. I love the sport.
Really?
Yeah. Matter of fact, my family was watching. They was asking me questions about it. Some stuff I remember. Some stuff is different than when I play. I didn't play no pro level, so you know there's different rules and stuff. But yeah,
what's crazy right now is Mr. Messi from Argentina. He had retired, but he's playing for Argentina. I think he's like 40, but he came in. He had a hat trick 2 weeks ago, 3 goals. And then the other night he had 2 goals. Cristiano Ronaldo, he's an older dude. He's playing for his country. He had 2 goals. It's crazy. Young Stay W says, find me on Discord. 83 Kicks is in the chat. I believe that's Jermaine from the men's group. What's going on if that's Jermaine at 83 Kicks? Thank you for tuning in the show. But yeah, it's been great stuff. Great. I'm loving to see. I was expecting a lot of ignorance from people for FIFA and soccer and not understanding it, but y'all in America here surprised me. The amount of people who's wanting to learn about the sport and enjoying the sport and taking it in, y'all surprised me because when I watched the last World Cup and people were just so ignorant to it, thought it was going to be horrendous. So also in the legal booth, Brockton Mayor, I talked about this on the show. There was the Brockton Mayor Rodrigues case. He had a harassment order. Everybody's been talking all this crap. He was in court today. He appeared in Hingham court. The harassment extension was denied. So that means it wasn't extended for a year. They didn't have enough proof or allegations on this situation. And maybe Lamarr, when I talk about this, he can kind of talk a little bit about this. But what happened was that there was a young girl in the school. She claimed that the mayor put his arm on her and it was unwarranted and he made her feel uneasy. They granted a harassment order that didn't reach him, and what ended up happening was at the graduation, the mother came on the field and made a whole big scene. The police had to escort her off, and she was like, "You're not supposed to be here. You have a harassment order." And this was a big nationwide story now. The mayor says that, you know, someone had dropped the baton. He picked the baton up. He put his arm on the girl, and he said, "Good job," or whatever. The issue here is that a lot of people were saying a lot of crap. They found nothing wrong, so they didn't allow the harassment. The problem here is that, and I feel for the girl and I feel for the family, but what the problem also is here is that this girl had a previous incident, sexual or whatever, I don't know, but she has a previous incident that's well documented. She's going to counseling for it, and they're saying that when the mayor touched her, it actually triggered to the past and made her think. So, you know, there's all these people talking all this crazy stuff and he should be in jail and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wait a minute, you guys are forgetting that this is a girl with trauma and, you know, she's a minor, number one. And number two, if this really goes to trial and this was to come down, now you're going to bring her counselor on the stand and that counselor's going to have to say, hey, she was triggered by this. Her reality may not see. So I'm just going to let you talk about how triggers can really be strong and make you think things aren't real.
Well, when you talked about PTSD earlier, and I'm gonna just do a quick crash course, trauma 101 kind of thing. One of the things about trauma, man, trauma distorts how we view the world moving forward. Right? Trauma distorts how we view the world moving forward. What do I mean by that? I mean that whenever you live in life, as a young person, older person, whatever, you see the world a certain kind of way. And then a traumatic experience happens, whatever that might be. It could be as intense as war and natural disaster and things like that, or it could be some of these smaller things, right, that happen. We talk about workplace trauma, right? So that might be deemed on a scale of what's big and what's little smaller, but our bodies don't know the difference. And so we don't see the world the same after a traumatic experience. Just think about yourself or anybody who's listening right now. Think about something you would deem a traumatic experience. Not to say, you have PTSD. That's another thing.
Right.
But when we're talking about how we live through trauma, if a person has experienced something, and especially if it's fresh and it's unresolved, anything that activates it, you say trigger, I try to say activate because trigger has its own connotations, but anything that activates or triggers it, it's like it's happening in real time. And so that's why being trauma informed is a real thing. And no matter what workspace you're in, that's something I do a lot of work around. That's why I'm talking about it. Like, it's almost what we want to do when we're trauma informed. One of the things they say is to hopefully not intentionally, but you may unintentionally activate a person. We don't want to create environments that unintentionally activate a person.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, we talked about intergenerational stuff. When I was growing up, older people would hug you when you didn't want to be hugged, put their hands on your shoulder, they call you baby or call you whatever. That was just what they did. And not all of it was sexual. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it was and led to a lot of the issues that some people in our generation are living with, right?
Yeah.
It sets up.
When I got older, you now understand why when you went to the family cookout, if Uncle so-and-so wanted to take you down to the beach and everybody would jump up. Now, you see what I'm saying? Now you know why
that's
that
my
happened.
Point. But see, it wasn't articulated and you're not taught consent. Here we go. Let's talk about consent real quick. This is probably going to be the crux of the argument with this situation. Consent, in that same, how many times have you been told, and I know I've done, that's why I try to catch myself when I do it, because my daughter's very standoffish. In a good way. Like, I like it. Like, you've been saying, oh, go give a hug and kiss to your auntie such and such. And you didn't really want to, but your family kind of pushed you to give that person a hug. What does that teach a young person? That if I don't have autonomy over my body, if I don't want to kiss and hug this person, but you're making me do it, when another person, oh, you can give me a hug, baby. Don't worry about it. Don't tell nobody. I'm your dad's friend. I'm your mama's friend, because it goes both ways. That's something other people don't talk about. I'm your such a, you know what I'm saying? But the kid is conditioned to be okay with what an adult tells them because they don't learn consent. And so now we go forward in life with misunderstandings of what consent is. And in this particular situation, he's probably just thinking, he's probably done it a million times before. Good job, man, way to do it. Not knowing this person's particular history. And so it has exploded into something that he probably, and many people probably had, like, how did he get here? Because we didn't ask for consent.
Right.
That's why I'm big on a high five, a pound, a church hug, if anything. Unless I know you, we have that rapport. And even then I say, is it cool if but I've learned it as a therapist. I can't just touch people. You got to say, hey, is it cool if I do X, Y, and Z? Right. I've worked with people's children in group home settings. You can't that's why I don't put hands on my kids. Like, I can't put my hands on somebody else's kids while I put hands on mine. That's a whole nother conversation. But my point is, consent is so vitally important. And we got to teach that to our young men and our young ladies to say, hey, you can't just touch people when they don't want to be touched. Just because they're girls, because they're this, because they're that. You have to act, and don't let nobody touch you without your consent. And teaching that. So that's what, to me, when I hear that, that's what comes to mind, is like, it's a real lesson in consent. And not just consensual sex, consensual touch. Hey, I didn't consent for you to put your hands on my body. So this is why you're getting this reaction. Is he wrong? The law is gray. It's very, I'm not saying the law, but it's very gray. Right? Because I'm sure he didn't mean anything by it.
Yeah. And like I said, I said in this day and age, it's unprofessional. And for some, you would say it crosses the line of civics. It is going to be debated, even though that the court has found nothing wrong. Everybody's going to debate it. The attorney for the family is now asking for all these people to come forward if you have anything, and it's like, but you don't really have anything, so it's not like, and like I said, it's crazy stuff. But I just want to thank you. Monkey Wrench Wellness is in the chat. She says, I'm not a soccer fan, but I'm so happy that everyone seems to be behaving well and having a ton of fun. It's great. It's great to see these other countries come here, like Norway, and do this rowing thing in the stands. It was nice to see the Scotland people come here and do what they needed to do. Monkey Wrench Wellness says 2026. We don't touch people, especially kids, without asking permission. You never know what someone's past experiences are.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Like I said here on the show when I had Chris Helms from the Enterprise on, who wrote the story, I said, in the workplace, you're only allowed one chance. And then once somebody files that one chance, it becomes a sexual harassment on that second time. So that first time you touch me, it becomes you need to notify me and let me know, and HR know, and then HR will inform me, hey, you did this. I don't want this to happen again. And when you violate it the second time, guess what? Your ass is fired, or you're whatever. So
if you get that one time.
I'm sure Mayor Rodrigues has learned his lesson. I wouldn't be surprised a year from now when he's not hugging and being nice to people like you always see him. People are going to be like, oh, he's not that nice guy no more. Well, this is going to be why he's not that nice guy no more. He's going to have to respect people's space because, you don't know who's going to come up or say whatever. And, he's an old school Cape Verdean guy. So, it is what it is, but it doesn't make excuses. But like I said, the charges were dropped. There was nothing found. So the harassment order was not, I got to say that, was not extended, people, for a year. They said there was nothing there for them to extend it. And like I said, again, my prayers go out to the family. But when they mentioned that the daughter has a previous PTSD issue from a previous incident, that's a tough one, people. You all can say what you want and this and that, but a defense attorney is going to get up there, and I hate to say this, the first thing a defense attorney is going to do is bring the counselor in and ask the counselor the deep questions, so that this poor girl's history and everything is all going to come out, and I wouldn't want that for her, because now she's going to really relive whatever caused her this issue. So I don't agree with it. So also, we got to get ready to get out of here. I'm going to show the clip to close out the show at the end of the show. So stay tuned with AJ Dybantsa, because I want to get in and watch this draft. In Trump troubles, hey, it's happened. Congress passed it along to the Senate, and the Senate votes to take away the war resolution powers of President Trump, and they are now directing President Trump to end the Iran war. So he's got to get this deal locked down and done with Iran now, because guess what? He's got to pull everything out of there. The Senate has said they're done with this. I can tell you right now, people, he's probably going to be a lame duck president for the remainder of the 2 terms. They're done with the antics. This thing with the reflecting pool has gotten crazy. If the Democrats take back part of this House and Senate in November, he's probably going to be a lame duck. He's kind of a lame duck right now, but I'm going to save all my politics talk for next week because it's First Tuesday. I've got my guys on the show. It's great stuff. But before we get out of here, they're already asking, what's Lamarr's info? Renee White in the chat, George DePina. Let them know, man. they're in the chat.
For sure. Y'all see the name, Lewis Family Consulting, lewisfamilyconsulting.net. That's where you can reach me there. You can find, go to the contact page. You got questions or anything I can support you with, it comes straight to my email. So I always say, do that first. Active on LinkedIn. So Lamarr, Lamarr, Lewis, just like it's on the screen. You'll see a picture of me like this, the other way. And I have no hat on. The one that Keith used for the flyer is my favorite picture, my professional picture. So that's the one you'll see. And that's me. You have all these different acronyms behind it that don't mean anything except that I'm here to help people. So those are 2 ways to get me.
You still doing church on Sundays? You still doing the
Yeah, so Shekinah Greater Love Tabernacle. To my aunt's church. She started it about the same time I left my job. Same time we started the men's group, coincidentally. I'm there most Sundays, speaking or whatever I can do. So Shekinah Greater Love Tabernacle, SGLT. Yep, find it on.
It's wild. It's wild to see church on YouTube. Of all the things that I see on YouTube, church is really big on YouTube. And I've gone to some churches, boy, and the production setups are wild, bro.
Bedside Baptist used to be when I was growing up, they called it Bedside Baptist. Now you really can do bedside. What they called it when I was growing up, bro? Bedside. You going to Bedside Baptist today? My mom used to say that all the time. Or you can kick it Saturday night, but you can't go to church on Sunday. You know that whole. But now if you want to, you can roll over. You know, press.
Yeah,
oh.
they take it. I seen one church. They had the Cash App, the PayPal, and the Venmo right down the bottom in the lower third. Talking about you can give to the Lord right now if you at home.
The work still got to get done, brother. Light still got to be on. You know what I'm saying? So,
back in the day, we had the 1-800 number on the TV, but now church is right there. They got it. They right got the there. Cash App, Venmo,
everything.
No excuses,
bro. Zelle, pigeon with a tag on. You can fly the pigeon or whatever you gotta do. Just bring that money to the storehouse. We need all of that.
Oh man, great stuff, Lamarr. I want to thank you for coming on the show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
I appreciate you, good brother.
SpongeBob will take us home. SpongeBob will take us home after I show this clip. AJ Dybantsa, it's 8:23. Let me just check real quick because I know the draft is just starting. I don't think they've picked yet. So if let's see if they picked yet. First. Nope, it's been picked. It's confirmed. The Wizards have chosen AJ Dybantsa. He will be playing with the Wizards. Darren Peterson has gone to the Utah Jazz. So big congratulations to Brockton's AJ Dybantsa, Washington Fantastic. Wizards.
I got a question for you before we. I don't really steal the shine. I got a question. What do you think about Giannis to the Heat?
Man, I know Kevin was happy. He was supposed to come here. And Jalen was a little upset about that, but I look, it's a business. Jalen, don't be upset. This is a business, bro. You're a product. You're a player. We all love you and stuff, but at the end of the day, you're a puzzle piece. That's just real talk in the NBA. I myself, I couldn't see why the Celtics would want Giannis here when we got past Giannis because Giannis was hurt when we won our championship chip. Giannis got hurt again. So I don't like having people who get hurt when we need them. I wouldn't have offered that trade. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have offered up Jaylen Brown for Giannis myself. So going to the Heat, I think he's going to be ill down the Heat. I think he's going to be ill down there. I know Kevin was happy. So
yeah.
What do you think? How you feel about it?
I mean, the game is the game, man. You know, the game is the game. I learned that from The Wire, and I live by that. It's just you can't get impermanence is a real thing. You know, you think people gonna be somewhere forever and all that, and it's just not, man. When Dame got traded to the Bucks, I was like, for real? But you know, he's trying to win the chip. And they gonna give him and Bam, and you know the other pieces they got left. I'm not as into it as I really only pay attention to the draft and the trade. That's my favorite part of the game. I don't watch it as much as I used to. But I do like, you know, how they fit, you know, and I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be nice. So, hey, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I'm going to show this clip right here, and then SpongeBob will take us home. But this is the clip courtesy of the NBA. So I want to thank them for providing this clip. This is AJ Dybantsa, his trip to the draft. And as you guys know now, he will be playing for the Washington Wizards. So here we go.
AJ Dybantsa is incredibly talented. Dybantsa to drive! Oh my! I'm an all-around player, and I just want to showcase that.
It reminds me of a lot of the great players that I coached. He's just different.
It's one thing to be a good athlete, but he's just a good human being.
Today I'm officially declaring for the 2026 NBA draft.
AJ, he's one of my idols.
I'm just passionate about basketball. Come join me on my last day of school here at Utah Prep. Come on. When people say my piece, like if I'm in an empty gym and I have some music on, that's like peaceful for me. I'm mean, the love of the game, I can't really even define it. Like, it don't matter what people do at me, it don't matter what people are saying to me. If I'm on the court, I'm having fun until I lose.
AJ basically completed high school in 3 years instead of 4, and it's amazing. He's got really good grades. He's a really good student. I mean, plain and simple.
You heard Mr. Briggs, I can get my associates in 1 year. So, I mean, just trying to take school seriously, because everybody say, all the vets say, the ball stops bouncing. You got to take that serious. So you got to have school as a backup.
I've never seen anybody like AJ. It's one thing to be a good athlete, but he's just a good human being.
Come on, come on, come on. That's why you're here. Don't hold on to it. Shot.
First time I saw AJ was at the top 100, and he was a freshman going into his sophomore year. We couldn't recruit him, but we can look at him and pay attention. He already had instincts like a Kobe. He played hard. But when you with him every day, you travel every day with him, you watch him perform and play, and you started seeing that this guy was different.
It was good coming out here because nobody bothers me out here. There's not a lot of people in this city. I just come to school, be peaceful with my classmates. I go to school, I work out, I go home. Just finished my senior year at Utah Prep, and I'm just packing. I'm about to move up to Brigham Young tomorrow morning.
So why BYU?
Really, Coach Young, with his NBA experience, he coached a lot of NBA guys similar to my position. He wants to bring the NBA to college, so that really stood out to me, and my ultimate goal is to make it to that final level.
We know where he wants to go. From the time he picked up a basketball or a piece of paper, threw it in the trash can, he's thought about the NBA. The NBA, everybody is just like you. Now it comes down to this.
What's up, y'all? We got practice today. We got lifting. We got the annex right now, which is our practice gym. Marriott Center over there. And let's get it. Time to work. Come on in. I'm a low-key guy. I'm from Brockton, Massachusetts. I'm just trying to be myself as much as possible. I'm good. No, but he got 3.2. I thought good for was 3.17. Well, if we both went to combine, we top 20 for our positions. I mean, when it gets tough, I just go play basketball. Like, basketball's like my piece, so I just go hoop. Relieves all the stress. No top of the key. First and 3. 1. I'm just passionate about basketball. You'll see the more passionate side come out of me when I'm on the court, but when I'm off the court, I'm just like a laid-back guy. I'm no man. I got him. Stay up, Rob. Yep, I got him.
Good, drive it. Good. Good, let's go, get back.
I'm ball.
If not, you're just driving the nail. Pitch back to AJ. If you have a drive, go for it. Xavion's just gonna play in this low zone for you. If you hate all that, play pitch ahead into a side pick and roll game. He's just different. Take the talent aside, you just talk about his approach and his mindset and his maturity. You know, that's for me is what makes him pretty unique. And how he just sort of goes about his business and his work. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of the great players that I coached in the NBA.
Good, AJ!
I've been fortunate. I mean, the great ones that come to mind without railing off a huge list, it's Joel Embiid, Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, in no particular order. And they all had this similar just aura about them and just really how they just operate on a daily basis and just how driven they are to succeed. And I see a lot of those same qualities in AJ.
He put me in a lot of NBA sets. I'm watching a lot of film with the NBA guys that he's coaching, try to incorporate that in our whole offense so everybody can just kind of play fast and just try to play like an NBA style game.
Well, I had a talk with Coach KY, and I told him I'm not one of those parents that are going to be in your face. Nah, he's yours. But promise me one thing, you got to make him accountable.
Some days you show up, you're not making shots that day. You got to find a way to grind through it. Okay, you got to just find a way to grind through it, make the next right play.
And KY helped me just be a leader on and off the court, try to get the guys to do stuff off the court so our chemistry will be better on the court. BYU took me in with open arms, and it was fun to just try to get the college experience while I was there for a year.
I left the Congo when I was 13 years old. I never had this with my dad. I'm here to support him. You know, I'm not his friend, I'm his dad. Whether they want to hear or not, I'm gonna tell them. I'm his biggest fan, I'm also his biggest critic.
I mean, it's good to keep the family close. There's some kids do that are afraid to like tell their parents like their business or whatever, but I can like tell them pretty much anything.
To spend time with him, I mean, like I said, it's a blessing. I do everything with him. We're together pretty much all the time. Eventually, I'm gonna have to let go, but not right now.
He's been with me, Utah Prep, BYU. I mean, you can keep going back and back, and he's been there, but it's just making life easier. Just me focusing on books and ball, and he can handle pretty much everything else outside of that.
Let's give a noise for AJ, y'all. Let's talk about your journey, coming up in Boston.
My dad just took me to Rhode Island and everything. I started working out. I know when I came back, I made varsity team as an 8th grader at St. Sebastian. I was like, yeah, I think I want to take this far.
One of the nation's premier freshmen, A.J. Dybantsa, returns home to Massachusetts as BYU takes on UConn.
It's crazy. I mean, we've been waiting for this moment since he decided to go to BYU. He was born here. He was born in Boston, grew up in Brockton, but he was born in Boston. So, playing in front of the crowd, familiar faces, it's gonna be epic.
BYU, BYU, BYU.
It was crazy. I remember just looking up and seeing all the seats filled. You look behind our bench, there's a whole bunch of people that I haven't seen in a while. Obviously, me being away, so it felt good just playing in front of my home crowd.
Been living under a rock, maybe you haven't heard, but number 3 for BYU is pretty good. The top recruit in the nation, back home here in the Boston area, and A.J. Dybantsa.
Everything's just faster, more attention to detail, everybody's bigger, stronger. So it's more so just reading the game instead of just having an advanced skill set.
Dybantsa gets inside, yes, that was pretty.
That's where he's tough with that extra large step. He is back in town.
I mean, I was back first half. I probably had a lot of turnovers, 2 points. But second half, it was just kind of like more so I didn't want to get embarrassed in front of my hometown.
This guy, Dybantsa,
driving, whistle, block.
That is big time.
This is the guy. He's going to rise and fire. Got it!
Oh, goodness, how about that?
Woo! Dybantsa with 21 this half.
I love the city of Boston. I know that, it was filled with UConn fans tonight. I've been playing in front of a lot of these people since I was at St. Seb's, so it's good to see them.
Surefire top 5 pick, A.J. Dybantsa will lead BYU against the Clemson Tigers at Madison Square Garden.
It was kind of cool when I first walked in here. We had shoot around. It was kind of like I'm in the mecca. Like I've never been here. I never watched a game here as a kid. So playing here was special.
Oh!
On the road at Madison Square Garden. First time for him, first time for me. He's been dreaming about this since he was a little boy, and here we are.
Oh my God!
I think he's awesome. He has a very professional type of game. Talking about 3-level scoring, making a place for others, being able to guard anybody on the court, and I'm really excited to see him.
Dybantsa and one. Dybantsa wants a clear out. Wants to go to work on Foster, or on Hunter rather. The turnaround goes. 2 more for Dybantsa, who is taken over here in the second half.
I've been hearing a lot about AJ. Been hearing a lot of comparisons to myself. I was in town and wanted to come check it out.
Dybantsa the drive. Oh my!
I can see what the fuss is about.
What a second half for A.J. Dybantsa. He has been involved one way or another in just about every bucket that the Cougars have had here in the second half. Boskovich to inbound. Right. Got it! Robert Wright second half by the Cougars. Outscoring Clemson 45-21 and winning it on the buzzer-beating three by Rob Wright.
AJ, down 21 and a half. What changed?
I told the team, bro, we've been here before. There's been multiple games where we've been down 20. It's just a pace set for us. When we run, we can blow teams at the gym.
What is the mentality for you to take over in the second half? Not just with points, but assists and rebounds as well.
But just be myself. I'm an all-around player, and I just want to showcase that.
We don't really talk about the first half. We were down by 20. But largest comeback in BYU history, and everybody knows Rob's significant game winner, which was crazy.
So is you gonna get double? They gonna guard Richie? Watch him hit it.
Nah, I said it's a game anyway. Bro, swear to God. I said it's a game anyway. He made three. Well, I don't know what it is, bro. It's just mental. It's just a mental aspect of it. I don't know why we start super slow and think that it's just gonna be sweet. We're making games tougher than what they're supposed to be.
Nah, that was crazy. In the garden, bro. In the garden, though, that was so crazy. Game winner. That was my first three-point game winner, too.
48 hours in New York. We ended it off with a win. Game winner by him. Pretty excited about first time at MSG. First of many, actually. We're going to be back here. This is where it all started. This is my elementary school. This is where I was dreaming. Obviously, everybody's seen the first grade book of me saying I wanted to be a basketball player when I grew up, and it was in these hallways. Brockton's the city of champions. Brockton High has a ton of athletes that went on to go play Division I sports. So it feels good to represent, and it feels good to enter my name in the draft. Hopefully I can be compared to some of those latent greats that came out of Brockton.
So we have a very special visitor here. We have AJ Dybantsa. He's going to hold a very special press conference. Let's hear it. But we gotta do better than that. Let's hear it for AJ and his family. They're gonna make their way up here on stage.
Today I'm officially declaring for the 2026 NBA draft. I wanted to come back and do it at this school specifically. This is where it all started. I seen the picture in my handwriting that I said I want to be in the NBA. And I'm declaring right now. It's just crazy. I put in countless hours.
AJ, he's one of my idols.
It's real special doing it at my elementary school. Seeing a lot of my teachers that used to teach me in elementary school. It just felt right to do it here. So I wanted to do it where I came from.
AJ worked so hard for where he's at right now. I am so proud of him. This was always his dream as a little kid.
I've been thinking about it for a little while, if I wanted to go back or if I wanted to declare. And I made the decision and I feel good about it. It just feels good to do it in these hallways. That cafeteria where I was eating at when I was 7 years old. This is my city, for sure. Empire State. First shot of the day, Empire State. Same first shot. We're here at the Empire State Building. We're about to go all the way to the top. Just see what it's like, see the view of the city. Let's get it.
Welcome, welcome. Enjoy your trip. Enjoy it, okay? God bless you. It's a pleasure.
Second time at Empire State, it was good. I actually got to go to 103. The highest I've been last time was 102, but it was just a great setting.
Can't wait for the draft?
Yeah. How many days is it? 5? 5 days away? Can't wait.
See you next Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to The Booth on Hoobazoo and hatchetradio.com. Please follow the Facebook page and subscribe to the podcast at Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. The Booth is a Sinister One production hosted by Sinister One.
I've got to start hanging out with friends that are a little more intelligent and understand politics and stuff. It's just that I'm up on this level up here, and all my friends are down here. Me, nah. You guys, nah. Maybe a little more down in here. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
I smoke, I drink, I do my thing. These bitches hating, so you know I got to make it plain. Don't do cocaine with your chick, my main. We stick together, true forever, yeah, you know we bang. I miss those days, which was easy. If only I make it, bitch, don't repeat. Now that I done upgraded, I've been upstate, but y'all think I'm playing. And I got a hit now for these weak assholes who think I ain't slaying. Try me, and I'll probably end up laughing, cause I never back down. I'm that chick with a clean ass whip. I don't need that shit, I got my own now. I get hurt, I get tired of fussing, fighting, guess I gotta crack down. Don't mess with me, cause on everything, I'ma have to bring the whole city out.
WHOOBAZOO, that's Hoobazoo.com.
Enter website, enter website, enter website, enter website.